Okay, hi everyone. This is Kate Longacre with Champions Choice for Early Learning, and today I'm going to show you how to build a worm farm. Now normally we would come out to my place in May and dig worms, but because of the COVID-19 we weren't able to do that. So I'm out in the garden today and there are so many worms in the garden. I just felt like I have to do this video and show you guys how to make your own little worm farm. So I've got everything right here to make the worm farm except the worms, and we'll catch up with the worms in a little while. So what I'm going to make my worm farm in is this old peanut butter container. Now this isn't ideal because it's see-through, but it will work. You can cover it with some paper or something. They kind of like the dark, or just put it kind of in a dark place. And it has a lid. Now this bucket here would be perfect because it's dark, but I don't have a lid for it. So I'm going to show you with this one. So the first thing you need to do is drill some holes in here so they can have some air. You don't need a big drill bit. This one here is about the right size. You don't want it so big the worms would crawl through it. So you could be smaller than this one, but we're going to just drill a few holes. Okay, so I have a few holes in the top of there. You can see them. Just enough so they can get some oxygen. Now another thing you're going to need is some chunks of cardboard, some newspaper, and some water. And maybe a little bit of dirt, and then organic material. The organic material is like table scraps. And I have some in this bucket here. I don't have too many because I dumped it yesterday. I've got some coffee grounds in here and some strawberry tops. But you can use, apple chunks, apple cores, whatever, lettuce, tomato, whatever that table scraps that you don't use. The worms don't like meat so much, and like onion skins, they don't break down very quickly. So vegetables, things like that. Okay, so I have all this stuff here, and we're going to move out to the garden now and see if we can find some worms. Okay, well, I just remembered that I was going to show you a little bit more elaborate worm farm. This one I'm using two cat litter buckets, one inside the other. And the reason you do this, this one is got holes drilled in the bottom. You can't see very well. And that way it drains when you add water, because the worms need a little bit of water. And then the stuff that comes out of it, that's in the bottom of here, you can use to feed your plants. So in this one, you would drill holes. This is full of worms, so we're not going to dump it out. You would drill holes in the bottom of the top bucket, put a layer of screen material in it so they don't crawl through. Then you put all your paper and your little bit of dirt and your cardboard and wet stuff and your worms, your organic matter, and then put your worms in there. I also drilled holes in the top of this one, and then I put screen material over it using like stuff you'd use on the back of the sink, caulking. And then I put a little piece of wet newspaper over them so they can stay out of the sun. And I will see if I can get this camera close enough so you can see any worms in there. I don't know if you can see them or not. There's a nice big juicy worm, and there's a number of them in there. So this worm farm I did last spring, and so they're still thriving. Okay, so we are now going to go out to the garden. Be right back. Okay, here we are, and my husband's mowing, so I hope you can hear this. Mostly hopefully you'll be able to see the worms. So I'm going, oops, that's not a glove. Put my gloves on and see what we can find. I might have to move behind the camera and do a close-up. I don't think this thing will let me zoom in. Anyway, so here we go. The worms really like the organic matter in the grass. So already there's one little tiny worm. You see him? Maybe we'll let him go and keep digging. See if we can find some more. No, we can. Just shaking that dirt out. This is kind of the perfect time to do this. The ground is soft because it's been raining, but it's not saturated, wet, and nasty. So it's just right for doing this. Let's see if we can get a better bunch out of this one. And well, that's not, I don't like that. It's not as many as I was hoping for. I was doing this earlier and we had lots. So we're going to move down here and see what we can find in this spot. Let's see. Oop, there's a couple. Look at that. 2 of them just popped right out there. Yep. Lots more. There's another one. Lots of worms. So like I said, they like, see this worm? He's all up in that root. They love to eat the roots of the grass and the weeds. So that's where we find them most. And some of the grass and the weeds they like more than others. There's another one. So I'm going to pause you for a second and see if I can find a big catch. And we'll be right back. Okay, I found some here. Well, you can see it close enough here. You can kind of see them. There's one here. There's a few in this clump. There's another one. Another one. Lots of worms. So we collect all those little worms up. I got a pile of them going here. And we'll get them ready to go in our little worm farm. See if I get some. There's another one. Just kind of have to shake them out. So if you have some dirt at home, an area where, like a garden that hasn't been tilled up yet, and a shovel, talk to your mom, make sure it's an okay place to dig, and then you can go dig up some worms and make your own little worm farm. And then you'll have worms this summer to go fishing. There's another one. There's another one. They're just very plentiful right here. Another one. There's a little one. Big ones and little ones. Okay, and I tossed a couple of night crawlers in the other garden. The other spot. I'll see if I can find them. Maybe they crawled underground. But look at this nice pile of worms. You can see them right there. Okay, I'm gonna go over here and see if I can find the night crawlers. Okay, so we're ready to put our worm farm together. I hope you can hear me. So the first thing you do is you take some newspaper and you strip it into big strips, rip it like this. You guys like to do that. You just take it, hold it with your fingers and your thumb and your finger here and here, and then you pull one towards you and pull one away from you so it pairs. And you dip those in the water. You can see here. And you put that, you can rip it into smaller pieces if you want. Put that, a layer of paper in your container. Needs to be wet a little bit. You can also take then some cardboard. You might put it in there ahead of time. Chunks of cardboard. They like cardboard. Did you know that cardboard and paper is made from wood? Yeah, it comes from the forest. From sawdust that they strip down and then they get it wet and then they cook it or something, and they squish it, pulverize it by putting it in a blender. And here's some bigger cardboard. Just kind of rip it apart. You like ripping things apart, right? That's kind of fun. Okay, so we're gonna put some of that in there. And we might put another layer of newspaper. Put that in there. Okay. Now we're going to add our worms. I'm going to go over here and get the worms off of the pile. Okay, so got quite a few of them in there. You can see the dirt in there too, but there's quite a few worms, wiggly worms in there. Look at them all. Okay, I'm going to put those in our little worm farm. Add them right in there. Okay. I dropped a couple. Now I'm going to put some organic material in. And since they like these weeds, I'm going to put a little bit of this bottom of this weed, the roots of the weed in there. Because they really like that. I don't want it in my garden, but the worms, they love it. So we'll put some of that in there. I'll dump my coffee grounds and my strawberries in there. Probably don't need too many coffee grounds. And if I had some other chunks of apple or something, I'd put that in there too. And I'm going to put another layer of newspaper if I have any more. Oh, I'm all out. So we'll just put what we had in our bucket. Some of this. Some more paper. Maybe a little bit more of this organic material. We got it all in there. And then to top it off, I'm going to take a piece of this cardboard about the same size as the inside of the tub. And lay that on top. That's a little bit big. I have to tear it. And then a circle. Put that inside. And then put that on top. There. And then we'll put the lid on. And then you gotta check them. And about once a week, I guess. And add more organic material. And if it's damp, you can add, if it's too dry, you can add a little bit of water. You could drill some small holes in the bottom, but if you do that, you want to make sure wherever you put it, it doesn't drip and drain like in the house, especially in your bedroom. You'll want it out in the garage or somewhere kind of cool. Not too hot, not too cold. Okay, we'll put our lid on, and there we are. So I hope you enjoyed that. Get out and get some fresh air. Get out in the garden, do some digging. Find some wiggly worms. They're so much fun.